So we are joined by Steve Preston, my dad, who is owner of SIRE De Gruggy. Steve, great to have you, or Dad.
I'm absolutely delighted to be making an appearance on this fantastic program you've created. Thanks for having me on. I'm honoured.
You're welcome. Your fee will be in the post shortly.
Okay, thank you. That's very kind.
No problem. So the reason we've got you on, obviously being an owner of a winner at Cheltenham, that must have been a good feeling.
Well, it's a dream. It's more than a feeling. It's a dream that actually came true. And that sounds a bit cliche, but it's actually really true. One horse, one Cheltenham champion chase winner, 1 out of 1. So yeah, it's an incredible feeling and unbelievable. And obviously now we're on the eve of Cheltenham again next week. Those butterflies and feelings are always still there. So yeah, can't really describe it other than to say it's a dream come true.
Brilliant. And Steve, for anyone who's watching this now and thinking about, I've always been into the horses, I would love to maybe one day try and own a horse or anything. This was obviously the first horse you ever owned and went on to be so successful. What was the first steps of ever getting into horse ownership?
Well, I have to say, to be honest, the first steps was my dad brought me up, taking me around all the race courses in the UK, and dog tracks come to that. And I got a passion for it. And then that dream started to get into the back of my mind of, I wonder if one day I could actually own a horse or be part of a horse or share in a horse. And I won't tell you what age I was, but there was a certain birthday. Well, I will actually. It was my 50th. And I've got 3 sons. He's only one of them, Sean. But between the 3 of them, they sent me a birthday card with a sum of money in it that said, "Dad, this money can only be spent and go towards you becoming a racehorse owner."
Wow.
And that gave me the push and motivation that I had to actually go ahead and pursue it. So it was a long journey, and got in the end SIRE De Gruggy came as a result.
Wow.
How far did the 50 quid get you?
Yeah, it wasn't anywhere close to 50 quid. But I must admit, it was a good idea, and it worked. It doesn't matter. It was absolutely wonderful sentiment, and I couldn't have asked for a nicer present if I tried, because probably other than that I wouldn't have done it. So I genuinely thank you for it.
And as you obviously first met SIRE and was with Gary Moore, and at what point did you start to think, hang on a minute, this actually might be onto something here?
Well, to be honest, it was the first sort of reports back were very positive from the yard before he'd ran, and you just never quite sure then if they're just saying that because they're training him and you're paying your fees every month, and we didn't know them individually and personally at that stage, but there were positive reports, and he first ran at Sandown in a bumper. And, he literally reared up twice during the race. He pulled so hard, and he came a very sort of nice second. So, from that point of view, you think, oh, we've come second in a bumper after pulling all the way around. It was always looking like he could be a good horse. So really all the way through, he was sort of always going to be something special.
So when was the moment? Obviously, I know when the moment was, but when was the moment where you really felt like, oh my God, this horse could be serious?
Probably, I would say there were a build-up, and then he won the Dovecote at Kempton, and that probably was the signal that, will he go to Cheltenham, will he go to Aintree? And you then start to believe, wow, if he's talking about going to either Cheltenham or Aintree, with any horse, you've got something half decent. He actually went to Aintree after winning the Dovecote, and I think he finished 3rd in a race there where the ground wasn't in his favour. So that was the first real signs, and that was hurdling, which wasn't his forte, to be honest. After that, when he won the Celebration chase as a novice in 2013, then we really knew we were on something special. That was when he beat Finian's Rainbow, and that was the day that we thought, wow, we're into something really special now.
Yeah, I remember the day when he beat Finian's Rainbow, and I'll never forget, and we'll show a little clip of it in a minute, with the commentator's voice as SIRE was just coming alongside Finian's Rainbow. And as he mentioned SIRE, you could hear the surprise in his voice where he's going, and SIRE De Gruggy's coming.
Out of the pond fence, 3 from the finish. Thanks for that. Still has the advantage. Finian's Rainbow is close up. And in behind those is Wazard and in the yellow and black jacket. Finian's Rainbow has jumped to the lead. Wishful Thinking's taken 4th. Sanctuaires on the right trying to make his way around the outside. Into the straight they come to the jump. Finian's Rainbow on the left. Thanks for that in 2nd. SIRE De Gruggy in 3rd. Finian's Rainbow leads down towards the last. SIRE De Gruggy though is going to challenge him, the red jacket, and it's between these two as they come to the last. They touch down together, and it's Finian's Rainbow. SIRE De Gruggy though, the red jacket, Jamie Moore, has led him inside the last 100 yards, and SIRE De Gruggy is asserting and going clear. SIRE De Gruggy and Jamie Moore have won. 2nd place Finian's Rainbow, Wishful Thinking 3rd, and then Wazard and Awee 4th.
The novice SIRE De Gruggy has taken the Bet365.com celebration chase, not unsupported, for Jamie Moore, and the colours of the Preston family and friends, who absolutely adore this horse. They were at Stratford last Sunday when he had a doddle round her novice chase.
It was almost like he's not allowed to win. Yeah. Like Finian's Rainbow was obviously he was Henderson's horse, wasn't he? And
yeah,
a brilliant horse, and he was the one to beat, and everyone just thought he was going to walk away with that race.
Yeah, and I would say that probably that commentator had less surprise in him than we did.
Yeah,
real shock. And to be honest, again, winning that race as a novice, again, that'll take. I don't know if that's ever been done before, but I doubt it. And we'll have to see it. When's the next novice that can win that race? We'll see.
Yeah, and the ground again was relatively firm that day as well, wasn't it? Which
it wasn't in his favour. It wasn't ideal, but that track suited him. He seemed to love Sandown. That was it was at home at Sandown, and every time he ran there, he really ran his socks off. So obviously that was what suited him best.
So that was the end of that season. So the feelings going into the summer, getting ready for the next National Hunt season, it must have been one of excitement.
Yeah, I actually saw that at the beginning of the season he was 66 to 1 for the Champion Chase, and I put £5 on it. To win, yeah, just £5 to win on him, just because, almost out of sentiment than anything else. But that just shows you the journey that he went on in that season, to be 66 to 1 at the start of it and finish. I think he finished 3 to 1 favourite the day. Was it? I actually cashed out of that bet, which is actually true. I didn't cash out because I probably didn't cash out in those days, but I laid it with some other horses and actually wasted my money in the end. But nevertheless, that just shows you that he wasn't really a particularly fashionable choice during that season. And of course, that was the year when the Great Sprinter Sacre was dominating everything, and we were just fortunate that he was unfortunate in that period, and that he was injured, and we zigzagged him effectively quite well through the year, because every time we were meant to come up against him, he was injured, and we got through that season without really running against Sprinter Sacre. So that was a real bonus, because I don't think we would have ever really matched up to him if the truth be known.
No.
But nevertheless,
Desert Orchid, he ran in, and that's the one where he pulled up.
Yeah, that was. We could say we claimed the scalp of Sprinter Sacre in that race, but you're right. That was when they had thought that the horse did have heart murmurs or heart palpitations in the race, and Geraghty pulled him up, and we won the race. So we sort of won by default. But subsequent to that, when they got the horse going right again, then he beat us. He beat us in the won at Ascot at the Clarence House, and he also beat us at Ascot. At Sandown. Sorry, in the Tingle Creek. So yeah, he did have our scalp more than we had his. But nevertheless, we had our day in the sunshine, and that season was incredible. And to be honest, the whole career of the horse was unbelievable. He actually, I wrote it down just to let you know, he had a 62% strike rate in all runs. He either came first or second. 62% of his runs over chases. That is an unbelievable achievement for any horse. So we tip our hat to SIRE De Gruggy always.
100%.
Just to make sure we don't breeze across it too much, just the season that we're talking about, just go through some more details, the wins and the season that actually wrote him into the history books there. So so many wins, wasn't there?
Yeah, the end of the previous season was the one I just mentioned earlier when he won the celebration as a novice. He came out, I think, at Chepstow and just got fit, and it came in about third or fourth. And believe it or not, his next run was at Sandown, and he went into the Tingle Creek and won it. He followed that up with the Desert Orchid and won it. He then won the Clarence House, then won the Queen Mother, and finally put the cream on the cake and won the celebration.
Oh my God!
So that was, I think, unprecedented. I think it's historical. Yeah. I don't think it's ever been done. It's four Grade 1s and a Grade 2. I think that might be even 5 Grade 1s now, because I think celebration's now Grade 1, but it was Grade 2 in our day. And all those trophies are around me. So
let's get on to the trophies. Come on, yeah. Give us a look.
So in sequence, then the Tingle Creek is this one that he won that year, and then after that he won the Desert Orchid, which is the one on the end over there. From the Desert Orchid, it's the Clarence House, which is a plate, a very nice plate that you win, and then the Queen Mother Champion Chase, which is a solid. It's silver plate. That's the actual Queen Mother Champion Chase trophy, which he won. And for the celebration, we got the framed picture of him. And for all of that combined, you see the two on the top, the gold one and the silver one. SIRE De Gruggy won the Steeplechaser of the Year, and also we won Owners of the Year. Because as you probably know, with a lot of help from the person on your right there, we were quite well known as, let's say, we were very effervescent and enthusiastic supporters.
Talking of how exciting people, or how excitable people were when we came on track, we had Emma Kerr. She got in touch on Facebook and she said, "Is Steve Preston the person I met last Christmas at Sandown when our mare ran? If it was, you can tell him he was great fun and he's a brilliant laugh."
That can't be him then. No, wrong guy, wrong Steve Preston.
There's only one Steve Preston until I met Sean's friend, who's also called Steve Preston.
He's probably watching this.
There are 2 Steve Prestons, but anyway, I think it might be a lady who owned a horse in, and we met. Did you say it was at Kempton?
Yeah, sorry, I said Sandown then, but she did. Yeah, it was Kempton. Sorry,
well, I do remember that lady.
Oh, bloody hell!
I do remember her, if it's the same one. Yeah, and we did have a little laugh with her. Yeah.
And Claire Bowler, I don't know who she is, but she said, "Are you enjoying your retirement?"
I wouldn't know. I've only been in lockdown since I tried it. So I've been restricted, but I'm raring to go.
And we do have another one here from Craig Howard, who was wondering where you got your custom SIRE De Gruggy ties made.
Yeah, well, we've got a great friend called Neil McNulty, who worked in Leicester, and I know they were sourced in Leicester, but short of that, I don't know. We also had all our famous scarves that we actually we ended up selling them for charity, and we actually did a real good job. I think Sean was instigator of that, and we did really well with them. So both of those were through Neil. He was merchandising manager.
And actually, just about being owners of the year and coming into the limelight so quick. And I mean, obviously, not quite the same level of limelight as you will get from being on this channel, obviously.
No,
But, as you were on Sky Sports and some of the other smaller channels, how did you actually deal with going live on TV? And, it must be so out the comfort zone and strange. I don't know.
the one thing you've got to do is watch your language.
Yeah.
More often, either because you're excited because you've won or you're disappointed because you've lost. Every other word would normally be a word that you wouldn't be allowed to say on there. But no, I'm quite relaxed in those situations. It doesn't bother me. I love it, to be honest. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I've got one, again, to your right, who takes after me. In fact, he often put himself forward as the owner of SIRE De GRUGY. I actually heard him come forward a couple of times on radio and TV as Sean Preston, owner of SIRE De GRUGY. So
if you get the phone call and get asked to make the interview,
it runs in the family. We love it.
So then, Cheltenham. This is all about Cheltenham.
Yeah.
The week before, so we're now Sunday night. How was you feeling Sunday night before SIRE was due to run on the Wednesday?
The only thing that's in your mind when it's this close is, please don't tread on a nail, or please don't tread on a stone and go in the lane. Let's at least take our chance. And I can imagine that any owner or trainer, or even if you've had a really big bet on a horse, the one thing you don't want is for it not to run. So it's nerves, it's nerve jangling, and it doesn't stop really until right up until the race.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people don't realize how fragile, although they're brilliant, amazing animals, they are like Formula One cars, and it only takes one slight little tweak or one little thing, and it can stop them running. Well,
SIRE missed. After he'd won the Queen Mother, he missed almost a season because he rolled over in a pit after he'd done his work, and they put him in sand and let them roll around and enjoy themselves. And he got his leg caught under one of the bars in the fence, and that cracked one of the bones in his leg, which cost him, I think, a whole season. So yeah, he had certain other injuries in his time, and as you know, we've had other horse. His brother, Blue Sire, didn't work out very well in terms of a racehorse, and he was constantly injured. And although we haven't mentioned it, we did have a winner last week. Our follow-up to SIRE De GRUGY, Editor de Gite, won his first race last week, and he's also been almost a year out off the track because of a tendon strain. So yes, they are highly tuned animals, and especially steeplechasing and hurdling. There's a lot of strain and tension on the body in order for them to do it. So things can go wrong quite easily. And the best, as we just mentioned earlier, Sprinter Sakurai. I mean, he lost so much of his time due to injury, and it was unbelievable that he was able to come back and win the Queen Mother in the manner that he did. So yeah, horses are fragile.
Yeah. So the morning of the race, imagine you didn't sleep much the night before.
Not at all. Well, I probably did, because I'd have probably been in the bar most of the night and comatose.
That's a good way to settle the nerves. A few drinks.
Yeah, exactly.
So at the race course, obviously, Queen Mother's third or fourth race on the day. I think it's fourth race, isn't it, on the day normally? You've got to go through all them races. Did you even have a bet on them races? Did you just sit there in the corner and feel?
We were able to. Well, you were there, Sean. We were a group of 18 or 20, I think, which again, thanks to Cheltenham, allowed us to have the extra tickets on the day. And we stayed together as a group, as a crew, and we were determined to make it a fantastic celebration. Win, lose or draw, as long as the horse comes back in one piece. That was the only real driver, and that is honestly the truth. And as you know, we won. That was just absolutely not just icings, but cherry on the cake as well. But yeah, we're a big group and we stuck together. We all went into the front bar at Cheltenham, or as was the front bar at Cheltenham, and basically took our corner over, and we stayed there for the day, during and after the race, and until they kicked us out and put us on a bus, and then we went into Cheltenham and carried on. So yeah, brilliant.
And I think we need to tell everybody about the time when we actually got on the bus back into the town centre.
Yeah,
that's a good story, which most people won't believe, including the people that were actually sat on the bus with us.
No, almost all of the 18 were on the same bus upstairs, which was the free, free, it may not be free, but anyway.
£2 the raffle ticket.
Round trip bus that takes you from the horse track to the city centre. And we all started with that. Well, first of all, we were adorned in our red and blue scarves. And secondly, we all started singing "We Won the Champion Chase," blah, 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 as well as many other songs. And then the rest of everybody on the upstairs of the bus, most of whom were Irish, decided to join in with us. So we had one of the most incredible, memorable journeys, which should have taken about 15 minutes, but took about an hour because of the traffic and also the people queuing to get on the bus. So we had an hour of complete and utter fun on the bus.
Brilliant.
And
it was brilliant.
And everyone asking on the bus, if you own a horse that's a winner at Cheltenham, surely you should be in a limo or a helicopter.
On the chopper.
Why are you sat in traffic on this bus? But I guess that sums up the situation that...
Yeah, we didn't realise we were going to win.
So then Cheltenham, the following year, SIRE went into the race as favourite. Obviously didn't quite have the same outcome.
No.
How did that?
Inexplicable that we don't really know. It just didn't turn up. I think he came third. So it wasn't a terrible run, but it just wasn't him. And to be honest, if you look back on his life, he peaked literally the year that he won the Champion Chase. He probably never was quite as good after that. But he carried on winning until he was 10. So as I said, he won 17 races in his career, which is an awful lot, and he won 13 out of 29 chases. So, that's a 33% strike rate as a chaser. And as I said before, 62% of his runs, he was either first or second as a chaser. So, you couldn't ask for more. And as you know, and I'd like everyone to know, he's happy. He gets the run of the place at Gary Moore Stables now, and he's kingpin down there. So he should be. And he still gets ridden out by Gary and Jane and the team every single day, and he's having a great life.
Perfect. So you mentioned there before that you've got the new horse. He runs in the red and blue. Tell everybody what the red and blue's about.
What the red and blue's about is, the two things that are closest to my heart in terms of family and sport, and that's Crystal Palace Football Club and my three boys. So our red and blue is basically the Palace colours, and the 3 stars are for the 3 boys I've got, which is Liam, Sean, which is you, as you know, and Ryan. We made a combination.
I didn't know that about the 3 stars.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that bit.
The other 3 on the other side are for the 3 kids you don't know about.
I told you not to tell anyone that.
And the one on the hat, God knows.
Yeah, no one knows. Yeah.
Even he don't know that one.
Yeah.
So it colour coordinated and matched.
Yeah.
So we're still having the horse with Gary Moore. Obviously, Gary's got 3 really good chances, or it seems good chances, going into Cheltenham this year. He's got Goshen in the Champion Hurdle, Botox.
Botox has,
and 50 Ball. They've not picked their races yet. Botox has and 50 Ball.
I think it's pretty sure that Botox has will go in the hurdle, the Coral Cup, and the other, and 50 ball will go in the whichever one of the hurdle race that he's entered for, because Bo Tuxaz only holds one entry for Cheltenham, whereas 50 ball holds two.
Yeah.
So it's unlikely they'll be in the same race.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've put an each way treble on those three. So I'm glad that you've brought that up, because I think they all have a good chance.
Yeah.
Certainly each way anyway.
Yeah. Well, Goshen's now, he's been absolutely smashed since his last win. Obviously, that was impressive. We spoke about him before. You're still on Honeysuckle, aren't you, Lee?
Yeah, I'm going Honeysuckle for me. I was saying, Steve, I think with Goshen, definitely still got a great chance. I think he's either going to take the lead early and just be right up there and almost up in a league of his own, or I think it'll be the exact opposite, where he's just sort of left fairly a good way back. So I'm dead keen to see how it goes. But Honeysuckle, I think, just had such a great year. Going to be tough to beat.
I think the mare's allowance is really a key factor in it.
Do you know what I wrote down for that race? Honeysuckle Goshen forecast.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Epitant is going to be able to compete at the speeds that they run at, and he won't be able to sit midfield and overhaul either of those two. I'm obviously hoping that Goshen's still got the same form that he had at Wincanton last time out. But
some run, Steve.
Pardon?
That was some run.
Yeah. If he comes with that, him and Honeysuckle, I agree. Honeysuckle is going to be the challenge, but I'd love it for Goshen, obviously. I think a lot of people would. So my heart's with Goshen. My head's probably slightly with Goshen as well. But I do expect Honeysuckle to give him a run all the way to the finishing post. He won't be 10 lengths clear at the last fence like he was last year anyway. But I do fancy that as a forecast, actually.
Yeah, I think that could be a good bet. We've had a little...
Good forecast, good bet.
Yeah, we've had a little forecast on Shishkin and Ergamine, thinking that could be a similar sort of outcome with them two. I think it's hard to pick between them two as well. So we have put you on the spot a bit. We sent you over a couple of races for Cheltenham. Not the easiest. Well, none of them are easy for Cheltenham, to be fair, because obviously it's the creme de la creme, the best of the best.
Yeah.
But
and there's no real pressure because can't be any worse than us.
No.
No, I've been following the show, and I must admit, it's not the tipping that you'd follow the show for so far. But, things might change.
We're good at picking favourites.
But yeah, thank you for the three races you gave me. But I've of course listened, and I've looked, and I'm ready to give you my deliberations.
Brilliant.
Okay. Let's have it.
You want to have it? I need to refer to my notes.
Write these down, Rick. Straight into the Bet365 ad.
You ready?
Yeah.
So, I'll start with the champion bumper, which is like, thanks very much.
Yeah.
About 45 entries for it.
Yeah.
No one knows who's going to run in it. But anyway, some interesting facts that will narrow it down. Firstly, it's never been won, well, not since 2010 by a 4-year-old. So that means put a line through all the 4-year-olds in the race, and that narrows it down.
Okay.
The Irish have won 7 out of the last 9. So, and given that I checked, I think the first 7 in the betting are all Irish. I don't think that's going to be a statistic that's worrying anyone this year. And 10 out of 23, Willie Mullins has won. And he's got about 6 entries in the race. Again, we're not sure exactly who's going to run, but I think you can pretty much rest assured that Willie Mullins, whoever he does have running in it, will be expecting it to win, and or the 1 or 2 or 3 that he ends up running. He will expect to have a winner out of those 3 anyway, or 4 horses. So there's some sort of context. Favourite is now, well, the joint favourites, Kilcruton's Sir Gerhardt. Guess who the trainers are? Willie Mullins and Willie Mullins. I think that's it. Then there's an interesting runner called 3 Strike Life, which the trainer formerly known as Gordon Elliott, now is it Denise Foster. But anyway, the trailer formerly known as Gordon Elliott has that horse in it. And then Gavin Cromwell, let's be clear about it, and Joseph O'Brien, Eric Bloodaxe. So you can see that, that gets you down to more than 16-1. The first one in the betting with any kind of price, which is an English trained horse, is Twiston Davis on I Like to Move It. So I think we can agree that it's going to be an Irish win. It's been won in the past by Fernie Hollow and Envoy Allen in the last 2 years, so both Irish horses. The question is...
Both the same owner as well.
Yeah, what they called the...
Cleveleys.
Yeah, Cheveley House. Yeah, Cheveley House. So, that I think means if you look at the first two in the betting,
so
he's laughing at me going Cheveley, Clevely.
Just laughing about how certain he says it as well. It's like, come on, I think it's Cheveley's.
Anyway. Cleveland is in Yorkshire somewhere. So anyway, the first two in the betting are the two Willie Mullins horses, and they're now joint favourites. Kilcrew, who won a massive race at Christmas in Leopardstown, which was a Leopardstown bumper, and he had quite a few of this field behind it. Chemical Energy, Ramillies. So there's no reason to think that those are going to reverse the form on him. The other horse, Sir Gerhardt's taken a different route and hasn't been quite as high profile, but it's been equally impressive. So either of those two, you've got to fancy as excellent chances. But I just got a feeling that this three-stripe life is set up by Gordon Elliott to take this race. He's had one run in his life. He ran at Navan and won by 9 lengths without even coming off the bridle. He hasn't run since December, whereas the other two horses have been busy in February. So he's going to be fresh, ready to go. Navan is reportedly, according to what I've heard and been told, the perfect course to prepare a horse for Cheltenham in terms of the way that it runs, the track, left-handed, and the difficulty. So 8-1, I think with Elliott or Denise Foster or the former Gordon Elliott, I think that could be the value money in the race. So on that race, three-strike life.
Nice. Do you think with the Mullins owning both there, do you think he knows who's going to win?
No. I think he, he it's a bit like Aidan O'Brien sometimes when you see on the flat. When they've got 2, 3, 4 runners in a race, we even seen it with the Derby. Remember when Eagles Dare won the Derby? He didn't expect that. I mean, they think they know sometimes, but I honestly, genuinely think that these two are very, very closely matched. And it may well be that they're just too good for the Elliott horse. But given the amount of hard work they've had to do, and Elliott's horse has only had the one run, he will definitely improve from that, and he would need to, of course. Then he might just be able to be the fresher and better horse on the day. We shall see.
And at 8-1, you could probably bet Free Strike Life to place at a similar price of them two.
Yeah. I mean, well, quarter of the odds would be 2-1. If you could get that, I would say that's a fairly good chance, because you're then talking about the rest of them, which are horses that have all been beaten quite easily by either Kilcrew or Sir Gerhardt. Chemical Energy, Eric Bloodaxe. They've all been beaten by the two main protagonists, whereas the three-strike life hasn't run against them, which might mean that he's ended up behind all of them, of course. But
but in a champion bumper, it's
it's not that. He's clever enough, and he avoided the Dublin Festival with the horse, which I think gives me a little feeling that he's going to keep it a lot fresher, because they're young horses, and that's going to have taken a lot out of them in February. 4 or 5 weeks later, they're running again at Cheltenham, which is a tough ask. So we'll see, but worth a place anyway, as you say, or an each way bet.
Perfect. So
that's the champion bumper.
That's that one. 8-1. So that's 90 quid in our pocket. So if we put the 90 quid on this one now.
Yeah, we're going to obviously make it roll over, aren't we?
Of course. The next one, when I find my notes, you gave me was the Albert Bartlett?
It was, yeah.
It was the Albert Bartlett. Now, this is an absolute similar to the last one. There's about 50 entries still.
Why we gave you these ones?
In the race. The favourite 7-1. There's any number of horses that can win it. So, once again,
talk about stitch up here, Steve. Do you know what? You've got no chance, have you?
I can tell I'm the guest and not the producer of this show. But what the hell? I've given it my best shot again. So, no favourite has won the race since 2013. So, given at the moment that the favourite's 7-1, I don't think you'd even class that as a favourite. But anyway, there's a stat. The other thing, again, these are all young horses. Don't back bumper winners from Aintree or Cheltenham, because no bumper winner from Aintree or Cheltenham has ever won the Albert Bartlett. So it does help narrow it down a little bit. In terms of the main protagonists, Statler is the current favourite at 7-1, like I said. We, the English, in this case, have got Barbados Bucks with Nichols as probably second favourite. Then there's Ashdale Bob, Torrey Graf, Ngolo, Alaphilippe. So there's quite some, all sort of between 7-1 and 12-1 in the betting, 15-1 in the betting. Obviously, something could come from further down in the handicap. I would in the list, but I couldn't look into all of them. I've looked statistically at it and tried to understand a little bit what is the best horse. I think the best form in the race, without a doubt, is Statler. He was beaten by Grand de Mézil, which is in the Ballymore race, and he's favourite for that. And I think if Grand de Mézil was in this race, he would be reasonably hot favourite. Saying that, Statler was quite significantly beaten, 5 lengths behind. So, but it is the best form that you can track, whereas the other horses, like Nichols's Barbados Bucks, won his last 3, all quite impressive, but you just don't know what he's beaten. Yeah. There's obviously a great horse in there somewhere. He's improving. We wouldn't put it past him to continue to improve, but he's won these last 3, can't do anything more than he's done, and that would also mean that he's got to be seriously part of the consideration. But then looking at some of the others, then there is some form. Farouk Daleen, which is in the race, another one called Fair Isle, they're held by Statler on form. So Ngolo has really been disappointing in his last 2 runs. Torrey Graf has won his last 2. It's another Mullins horse that you have to respect. But the one that you really could take a chance on here was Alaphilippe. He's 10-1. And I think, I know he was put up by Luke a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, a good friend of the show, Alaphilippe. I'm not surprised
he was
set up, by the way. This hasn't been set up, by the way. We didn't know.
No. I genuinely looked at the race. He won by 14 lengths. He was impressive. There was a lot of carnage going on in that race. There was a lot of fallers and so on. But what you can't ignore is the fact that if you want to say what was the most impressive, and also what was interesting, is how much he come on. That who's to know what's furthermore to come out of that horse. He'll have had a nice space between that race and this one.
He wasn't going too hard either. No,
he didn't. I mean, Fergal O'Brien's a really, really canny trainer, and he wouldn't have had the Haydock race as part of his target. His race would have always been the Albert Bartlett, of course, at Cheltenham, and the English have got to win some of the races at Cheltenham. So
this race is dominated by the Irish for the last few years.
Yeah,
the English haven't won it for a while, but
well, all the other horses I mentioned are all Irish trained. So the only real English hope in the sort of, well, in the betting, in the first half of the betting is Ella Philippe. So I think, you know, given that there's Statler's form is solid, but Ella Philippe could be the one that will improve the most. The rest, I think, are held by Statler. So Ella Philippe over Statler is my selection for that race.
And Statler's most likely going to be favourite because he won't be 7-1 on the day for sure, will he?
Well, who knows? I mean, if he, I don't. To be honest, the other thing is he going to run in that race? I didn't check if he's been entered in other races, but the fact that he's favourite in it suggests that he probably won't be, and he will, in other words. So yeah, I mean, it is unlikely he'll be 7-1 once the you know, all the declarations are made. In the same way, probably Ella Philippe won't be 10-1. So you know, I'm not sure about the ground for them because the weather's now looking quite wet in the build up to Cheltenham. So you know, when I was looking at this, I was thinking more that some of the softer or wetter ground horses wouldn't be advantaged by Cheltenham, but maybe that'll change now. But Alaphilippe certainly won't be, neither would Statler in this case, be worried about the ground, and they both can handle the ground.
It would be interesting to see if Gaillard du Mesnil wins. I think that pushes you a bit more to Statler.
Yeah.
Because he runs before, so we can get more of a judge.
I mean, if he really does, like, as you say, hose up in that race, Statler would become probably a fairly good bet because Alaphilippe would have to improve out of all sight to get up to that level of form. So yeah, it is interesting, and he is 11-4, isn't he, Gaillard?
He's second favourite now, and believe it or not, we're both taking him on with two separate horses.
Right. Well,
Bob
I mean that's a good point. I mean, it's a good pointer to this race to see how Gaillard du Mesnil gets on in that race, because that is the only form line that you can draw through the runners as they are against each other. The rest, you just, as I say, Barbados Bucks has done absolutely nothing wrong at all, and he could easily be the best horse in the race, but we just don't know what he's beaten. They're young horses who are basically untried.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get form lines, but that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah. So Alaphilippe could have a little double place bet there, maybe, if he stays at 10-1 or.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, you'll get like 4, 5, even 5, 6 places at maybe 2-1.
Yeah.
Definitely a good bet. Definitely a good bet. And that's safe betting in these type of. I mean, nothing's safe when you put steeplechasing, of course, but. Relatively speaking, backing a horse in 4, 5, 6 places at 10-1 and getting 2-1 the place, if you can do it, is a damn good bet.
Yeah, perfect. So that's the Albert Bartlett. We've won that, so that's 10-1. So that 90 quid at 10-1. Right, so we're up to 900 quid. So who are we on next? Where are we putting our 900 quid?
The next race is the first race of Cheltenham.
That's right.
So in some ways it's the most important race because your very first race on the Tuesday is the one you want to win, because that gets you on your roll.
Yeah.
So this is the supreme.
This is the one we need.
The supreme hurdle. And let's have a look at who we've got in this. We've got Appreciate It at 6-4, quite short price. Then you've got Metier, Ballyadam, around the 5-1, 6-1, Soaring Glory at 7-1. Bob Bollinger is quoted at 8-1, although it's probably unlikely that he will run in that race.
Yeah, I'd be surprised, but you never know.
No. So I think it'll probably be from those ones who we see. Most likely all of those will be in the race. They will compete. Ballyadam is the Elliott, the trainer formerly known as Elliott, who again you have to respect, but has and is held by Appreciate It on form, and that incidentally also puts a hold over Blue Lord, who was further back in the same race. So Appreciate It has got those two pretty much covered, and Ballyadam was beaten by 15 lengths, and there's no different in the conditions. Metier, the English Harry Fry horse, has been incredibly. I watched his races. He's absolutely scooted up in all three of his runs, so you couldn't possibly fault him at all, except for the fact, again, that we just don't know what he's beaten. He won at Foss-Lass, I think. I can't remember the other two, but I think Newbury and possibly, anyway, wherever they were, all three of them he's won very, 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 very impressively. He might need heavy ground, soft ground, because those races he's running, he has only run in those conditions. Appreciate it, and the other horses have run further back in their lives and won on yielding ground. They'll also run on heavy ground, so that's not a problem. So that's a slight unknown for Metier, because normally, as I said before, the ground at Cheltenham's not going to be. It certainly won't be heavy. Soft, it would suit Metier. And the other thing that slightly puts me off him is he's a front runner, and to run against high quality and lead all the way at Cheltenham is a nightmare. Goshen proves that it can be done, and there are examples that it can be done, but there's very few horses who front run and can last all the way up that hill without seeing another rival, without overdoing it at some point in the race and just not having the legs over that between the last two fences and the finishing line. So on that basis, I think Appreciate It is one of the naps of the whole of the Cheltenham meeting. I really do. I think he's nailed on as a way of getting off to a great start. And at 6-4, you would say they're skinny odds. I actually think they're really good odds, because I'm surprised he's not odds on. He's absolutely killed all his opposition. And the only one that you could really give, you could say Soaring Glory because he won the Betfair Hurdle, but the Betfair Hurdle rarely delivers the winner of the Supreme. Totally different type of race. As I say, Bob Bollinger won't run. So the danger would be probably if Metier is that good and he can handle the different ground and he can take it all the way from the front, then you'd have to take your hat off to him. But I can't see that. I'd see Appreciate It as probably one of the naps of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
I think as well last year, Appreciate It was favourite for the champion bumper. He got beat by Fernie Hollow, who was 11-1 that day, which I couldn't believe he was 11-1 that day. Fernie Hollow,
like hell, didn't he?
Yeah. Fernie Hollow's obviously proved what a brilliant horse he's been since. But that form to come second at Cheltenham shows that he can do it at Cheltenham as well, which is also a key factor.
He just won. He won the big race in Leopardstown at Christmas. The festival race.
Yeah.
And he won. That's a massive bumper. It's a Future Stars bumper, and he won impressively. If again, I'm going against what I said earlier. I mean, the horse that I said earlier, Sir Gerhard in the bumper race, but they're that much younger, and it will have taken that little bit more out of them, perhaps. Whereas hopefully in this case, that's just set him up nicely for this race. Yeah. But that's with these young horses, you don't know. Running them too close together can be a disaster. On the other hand, they just go from strength to strength. So that's why I once again would like to thank you for giving me the three most challenging races to sort out for Cheltenham.
But if you've just you might have just pulled off a treble there.
Yeah.
6-4 favourite in the two places.
Yeah.
All is a treble.
In the treble, yeah. That's a good shout.
That sounds like a nice little bet.
It's nice to finish on a nap, though. One heavily fancied.
Definitely.
That's certainly beyond that now myself.
Yeah, no, that one looks a good thing. I think that's a good. It's really. It wouldn't it be lovely to get the first winner on the Tuesday at Cheltenham?
Well, it just sets you up, doesn't
it? We'll all be ready for it then.
So we've got the three horses of Gary Moore's. Botox has 50 Ball and Goshen. You've got a little treble each way, and then we've got Appreciate It on the nose to win. Ala Felipe as a place, or maybe a win at 10-1, great price. And sorry, the third one was the Three Stripe Life, 8 to 1. Also potentially a place.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else that you think is a good bet at Cheltenham? Any races, whatever you must.
Well, I've got the. I think, you know, not going to be very inventive by saying it, but this year the 4 horses that I think are unbeatable, and I would, of course, everything's beatable over jumps, but the 4 horses
last week.
No,
I said that last week, but it did hose up.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it? Bloody hell!
And hose up. Now I know.
I think we're on Shisking, Monkfish, Envoy Allen, and Chacon Poussoir. I can't see that any of those 4 being beaten, so I've put those in a 4-fold because I think that's all short prices. I think the Shishkin's evens now, I think, but the rest of them are odds on. But as a 4-fold, that's an interesting bet. And my win, Trixie, which would be a little bit sort of without a little bit more risky because the prices is Royal Pagare. I can't see that losing it if it runs in the Royal. The last race on the first day, the novice,
the National Hunt race,
the National Hunt race. Appreciate it, as I mentioned, and I also think Zanahiyr in the other bumper is an absolute nailed on. So that's another
beating Tritonic.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I agree also, but everyone obviously is taken over as favourite now, Tritonic, which I'm surprised by. But
I don't think Tritonic's in the same league as Zanahiyr. So that would be my next one. As I said, it's hard to find English winners, and I've got a couple for the handicaps. I think Amula Gold's a good bet in the which one is it? Is it the Ultima? No, the Grand Annual.
Yeah,
I think that Amula Gold is decent at about 16, 17 to 1.
Yeah,
that would be a good bet.
Wednesday. That's on Wednesday, isn't it?
That's on Wednesday. Yeah. That's probably my main. Let me just check. Yeah, there it. Yeah. Oh no, the Mares Hurdle, Henderson's Dame de Company. I like that for at 8 to 1. I think that's got a great chance.
What's that called?
Dame de Company.
Oh yeah.
Hurdle.
So that's on the Tuesday. So in the Mares Hurdle against Constanista. It's an each way bet because it's you can get 8 to 1 for him, but I think he'll give him a run for his money and each way bet 8 to 1. 3-4 places, you've got a great chance with that horse. Perfect.
They're my Cheltenham fancies.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Right.
I should be watching every single race. Because you're right, Sean. I am retired now.
Yeah.
I can do.
Good man. Well, thanks so much for joining us there, Steve. We'll certainly be having a little go and following you in on your picks there and seeing how we get on.
Brilliant.
We will make sure that we have a follow-up show next week, next Saturday. We will have the results. We might have to
not be available.
It'll depend whether we've got a bottle of champagne in front of us or we're still on the
Scrumpy Jack.
Still on the
White Lightning.
Yeah. But no, perfect. Thanks for giving us an insight on being an owner. Good luck.
Cheers, Steve.
Well, we're quite excited now because Editor Jajit most likely will run at Aintree. So we can maybe begin his story properly now.
Really?
If he gets in one of the 2 big handicaps at Aintree, it'll probably be either the Topham or the Close Brothers, is it? I think there's where he might be able to get in. So again, all those are normal things. If he stays fit, if he gets in, the handicappers put him up £7 for that last win. So, so the buzz is back. Right then.
Perfect. Enjoy
Cheers,
the rest of your night.
Great to see you.
Cheers, guys.
See you soon.
See ya.
See you
Bye.
now. Bye-bye.
Away from our Vicar Legionnaire, who's dropped right out. Kid Cassidy is struggling to get on terms, so running downhill and racing towards the third last. Summersby away to the right. Special Tiara in the blue colours. Over in third is Sizing Europe. SIRE De Gruggy into fourth place. Module is in fifth, and these five are now breaking away from the others with Wishful Thinking trying to stay on into sixth place. Three deep, they make the turn back towards home with SIRE De Gruggy tracking the leading trio. Summersby over on the far side in the green. Sizing Europe in the red cap. Is there one final hurrah? SIRE De Gruggy nips up the inside of Special Tiara and has got there travelling well. This is two from home. Summersby, SIRE De Gruggy jumps alongside, then Sizing Europe back in third and down towards the last. SIRE De Gruggy comes to take the Queen Mother Champion chase, is 3 lengths clear. Summersby back in second, Sizing Europe in third, Module in fourth, driven out up the run-in. SIRE De Gruggy has seized the opportunity this season and is going to land the biggest prize of all for the Preston family and friends. A first Cheltenham success for Jamie Moore. Gary Moore trains SIRE De Gruggy to win the Bet Victor Queen Mother Champion chase. Summersby and Module, it's very tight for second place. They were away then from behind these Sizing Europe, Wishful Thinking and Special Tiara.
And now perhaps we can...
With you, I can be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly up through the dreams where the skies are so clear. With you, I wanna stay with you. With you, I love the way that you love me today. Let's run up through the fields where the sun shines and heals. With you, I wanna stay with you. It's been so cold since you have been gone. Like I was told, you're the only one. Since you have been gone, like I was told, you're the only one. I can't be sad with you. Just take my hand and fly up to the dreams where the skies are so clear. With you, I wanna stay with you. I wanna stay with you. I wanna stay with you.
So if you could just hit that subscribe below.
Give us a like and it'll massively help us out. Cheers guys.